So, this is going to be different. Just sit tight. It'll all make sense.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and okay, let me explain. So, when I originally planned on doing Andor as another series to do reviews for, I was gonna try doing them in 3 episodes because the series is running about 12 episodes long for season 1. So I figured, let me do them in 3. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I figured that way it would free me up to do other stuff. So that hasn't happened too much this month. This month has been kind of a weird mental space for me, and in terms of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with like content this month, because it's October. Not only is it spooky season, which I usually try to do like spooky stuff, like movies and stuff like that during this month. It's also my birthday month, and I just have not been motivated just because of other things happening with my own self. So that was the idea. Obviously my execution has been poor. So technically this is a spoiler review for episodes 4 through 6 of Andor. I'm probably going to change up this for the remaining 6 episodes. I'll probably do them in pairs, because I realize it has been 4 weeks since episode 4 came out. And episode number 7 just dropped today, which I haven't watched yet. I am going to get to it. But I'm just recording this now as of today when episode 7 came out. So for me to sit here and do a spoiler review and to get super in depth with it when these episodes have been out at minimum a full week, it's kind of hard to possibly get people interested in watching my take on it when at least episode 4 has been out for a while and has been dissected by many other people so far. So this is going to be, it is a spoiler because I will talk about some of the stuff that happens in the episode, but it's not going to be super in depth like some of my other reviews have been. It's really just going to kind of group all 3 episodes as one arc and just kind of talk about that and just my overall opinions of the series and what I like about it so far, what I'm hoping to see with the rest of the series, and just kind of go from there. So that's what this particular episode is. So I hope you stick around and check this out. And if you do like this sort of a little bit more relaxed sort of explanation and stuff like that, let me know that in the comments, and maybe I can apply it to the other reviews I'll be doing for the rest of season 1 and going forward as best as possible. To do that, you should subscribe to the channel. Trying to get to 500 subscribers this year. It's my birthday coming up in like a couple days, so maybe as a birthday gift, if you watch this video, maybe click the subscribe button and help brother out and make him feel good about himself. That would be great. I do reviews, I do reactions and other things on this channel. I have fun doing it. It's just a matter of finding time and energy to do them. But when I do them, I love it and I enjoy it, and I hope you do too, and I hope you enjoy watching me. And if you do, subscribe. That would be great. So let's talk about these 3 episodes of Andor, episodes 4 through 6, which I am going to just refer as the Aldani Arc. So if you're an anime fan, you know like a lot of anime episodes are spread out among arcs. This is kind of an arc. Like these 3 episodes really work well together as one completely contained telling story. It's Andor's first kind of major mission for Luthen, who was the one who rescued him, not rescued, but picked him up from the planet when he was kind of in trouble and really wanted him for his skills. And the reason he wants him was to help with kind of a heist. It's basically a space heist with a group of rebels on this planet called Aldani with Imperial controlled facilities on there, and the goal is to rob one of the facilities' monthly cache of credits. I'm assuming to be used to help supply other rebel units out there, because at this point I believe most of the rebels are kind of their own individual groups and cells. They're not one like cohesive unit yet. So this is probably just one of the first steps into going to that eventuality of the Rebel Alliance that we see in the original trilogy. Episodes 4 and 5 really focus on Cassian blending in with this ragtag bunch of freedom fighters who clearly don't trust him because he just popped up out of the blue. And these guys are not super tight themselves. I mean, by the end of episode 6, there's been death, there's been betrayal, and it becomes like a Suicide Squad.
What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?
In space. That's basically what it ends up being. The other major sort of arc that happens in these 3 episodes is our reintroduction to Mon Mothma, played by Genevieve O'Reilly. But we get to spend some time with Mon Mothma and kind of get a sense of her involvement with Luthen and developing what will eventually become the Rebel Alliance. It's different for Mon Mothma and Luthen because they're both relatively doing things the same way, just one is doing it more covertly outside of the system, and Mon Mothma is trying to do it within the system while still doing some outside dealings and things like that. But it's starting to become a little harder for her because she's being tailed a lot more, she's being monitored a lot more, and it's putting her at more risk, and also puts more of a strain on her relationship with her husband and her daughter. That we see that happen in episode 5 with an argument at the beginning of the episode between the two. And it's going to eventually lead to her being outed as a member of the Rebel Alliance and really taking her place as a leader within the Alliance as well, which kind of sends her on the run. I believe that happened in Rebels, where there was an event, a massacre that takes place. I forget what species is massacred, but it's basically the last straw, and she, publicly denounces the Emperor and the Empire and basically has to go on the run at that point. So I don't know if we're going to see that in live action or if we're just going to see the events leading up to that moment that happened. I believe it was in Rebels. I believe it's in Star Wars Rebels. I didn't watch all of Rebels. I know. A lot of the animated stuff I don't watch all the way through. There's so much stuff on television. I've got some time now since She-Hulk just ended, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do with Secret Invasion yet. And the only other things coming out are Black Adam and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever right now that I'm kind of the next on the list. So I digress. Let's continue. Yeah, episodes 4 and 5, those are like the major 2 like talking points of those episodes. We get kind of see the other side of Luthen, the collector side of him that is the front, that he's able to kind of get in with some of the higher elites within the higher echelons of Coruscant and things like that, and also how he does his backroom dealings with Mon Mothma and other people within the Alliance, or whatever you're really calling them at this point. It is an interesting transformation. I like how Stellan Skarsgård kind of plays the dual roles really well as the character of Luthen. I really like his performance. Speaking of performance, I really love Diego Luna's, his continuing fleshing out of Cassian's personality, his backstory, how he can be creative in tense situations, especially trying to get the people on this team to trust him, and not even to trust him because, Luthen told him not to tell them anything, which obviously he's like, screw that. And I got to get these people to like me because also it's my ass on the line as well, trying to do this mission that's obviously a suicide mission, the way that they presented to him initially. The group is led by Vel. She's the one who has to take charge and has to convince the other people in the group to do that. The other people involved in it, there's Cinta, who is another female fighter. They tease like a love connection between Cinta and Vel. Didn't really explore it super in-depthly. It's the baseline queer representation that Star Wars has done so far. They haven't gone full-fledged with a lot of characters yet. There's literally like, oh, these 2 ladies in the background of a celebration kissed. Woo. But she's a part of the group, as well as Taramon, who is a former stormtrooper, so kind of shades of what we got with Finn during the new trilogy. He's also part of the group. There's Skeen, who's another rebel fighter who eventually does betray them. Not super hardcore, but he tries to convince Cassian to steal the loot once they're done with him, which goes bad really quickly. So not super trustworthy. He butts heads with Cassian a lot during the first 2 episodes and even up through episode 6 to a certain degree. There's also Nemec, who is kind of the heart and soul of this group. So of course he doesn't last that long. He's the one that really believes in the fight that they're fighting. He's not there for a paycheck. He's really there to try to stop the Empire and make a difference in the galaxy. Like, he has a manifesto with all the stuff that, what he believes in, his viewpoint on the world and the universe and the Empire and everything, which, unfortunately he does get killed, or he doesn't make it out alive. He does make it out, but he doesn't make it out alive. And Vel gives his manifesto to Cassian before he leaves. And I believe that manifesto is really going to help galvanize Cassian a little bit further along in the season to probably make him more of a believer and a fighter. Because he's still at this point right now just looking to kind of cover his own ass and save his own skin, and get paid for doing a crazy mission, which they end up doing. They have to infiltrate this Imperial fortress to steal the money, but to do it, they're using what is known as the Eye. It's a celestial event that happens on Aldani every couple of years. It's basically a giant meteor shower that goes over the planet. It's a beautiful scene. It's a really visually stunning scene, which I really liked about episode 6, and how they're able to use that as cover to try to escape. Before they can escape, they obviously get through all the tense situations. They're able to capture and disarm a lot of the higher-ups involved in the base. The plan gets kind of thrown out of whack because some of the officers within the barracks were able to discover what's going on and confronts them, and not everybody makes it out. Tarman gets killed. Their inside man, Lieutenant Gorm. He gets shot down and killed. Having be the 2 brothers. What are you gonna do? They're able to escape, but that's when one of the crates slams into Nemec, crushing his lower body and stuff. He's alive long enough to navigate them through the event, through the Eye, in order to escape. Try to give him some medical aid, but that doesn't help. He ends up dying. And this is also when Scheme proposes that they take the money, him and Cassian, and leave. But Cassian just guns him down in cold blood, which is pretty hardcore for him. But it does really set up more of how he's willing to do the hard thing. That sounds weird. He's willing to make the hard decisions in an instant. He's still in survival mode at this point in time. This is when Vel gives him the manifesto after he kind of fesses up to what's happened. She doesn't believe him at first, but then immediately switches over here, take this. He wanted you to have it. I'm like, wait, you just accused him of just murdering homeboy in cold blood, which technically he did. But then you're like, okay, here, he wants this. Okay, because he just wants his cut, and he's leaving the rest with her. And he's just taking his cut and getting the hell out. That's his plan. And then news gets back to Luthan and Mon Mothma and the Empire about the heist and what happened. So that has now put everybody on high alert. And so this is going to be interesting to see how Mon Mothma and Luthan navigate being in the belly of the beast in Coruscant, very entrenched and near the Empire, right under their noses, while they're more on high alert than they have been. And what's going to happen with Cassian? Where does he go? What happens next? Does the manifesto kind of galvanize him the way I think it's going to galvanize him? All that and more on the next episode, which I'm assuming we're going to touch base more on with episode 7 that just dropped. So I will be watching that probably tomorrow, and probably I'll do the episode reviews for 7 and 8 is my current plan to do that. They do touch base on some of the new Imperial officers. I don't know all of their names. Again, this was not well thought out in terms of waiting 3 weeks to talk about these 3 episodes. More of the infighting, more of the, power grabbing by different Imperial officers, trying to climb the ladder to become more than who they are. That one guy, I think his name's Kyan. He was the uptight security guy who ends up kind of screwing up big time, and they all basically got fired after the incident that happened with Cassian before. So he has to move back to Coruscant with his mom. This is like the C storyline, which I really didn't pay attention too much. But it seems like he's now motivated more to making Cassian pay for, I guess, the downward spiral that his life has gone. So I'm assuming we're going to see a reemergence of him at some point within the next couple episodes, if he hasn't already reemerged in episode 7. But I'll find out tomorrow when I watch it. So again, when is this video coming out? Hopefully by Friday. That's going to be my goal, is to try to get this out by Friday. Those are the major things that I can remember from the 3 episodes. Again, this did not go the way I planned. I thought, oh, okay, if I do them in 3s, I'll have more to talk about and it'll probably feel like a more meaty review. But it actually was the opposite. I forget a lot of stuff and I didn't take a lot of notes. So, and I haven't had a chance to watch all 3 episodes back, so I'm going way off of memory here. But it was nice that these 3 episodes really kind of encapsulated each other. They were all about the same thing, so it didn't like jump off the rails into different things. So I was able to kind of remember a lot of the major points. When it comes to Andor too, one of the things that really stands out to me about the series is the more mature theme that the series is presenting. It's not just being hyper-violent for violence sakes. It has a much more adult theme than most other Star Wars properties that we have gotten. I really like the fact that we are getting 12 episodes with Andor. It gives more time to tell a character-driven story than just lightsabers and spaceship fights, that sort of thing. We already know the Empire is bad. That's been established for almost 50 years, that the Empire is bad. We know the rebels are good, relatively. So what I think Andor is presenting us with is a different viewpoint.
From a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view.
A certain point of view?
Of how it's not just black and white. There are a lot of grays on both sides. We have people in the Empire who can see the issues that the Empire has and who want to make it better, but we also see people that see what the Empire is doing and start to defect. Same thing with the rebels. We see how they're disjointed, they're not united, they need to be more united, so there's still people who are going against the Empire who you think are doing it for good reasons, but are really doing it more so for selfish reasons. And you're getting that perspective. It makes everything feel less cookie cutter. It makes it more in depth, and it provides a more deeper story to tell. The people that they're presenting in Andor, and even in terms of like Rogue One, were never the big heroes. They were heroes in their own right, but they weren't necessarily like the Skywalkers or the Kenobis or anybody else that swings a lightsaber around, or even the Solos. These are like the Solos, but less popular. These are the people that aren't going to get recognized in 20 or 30 years. These are the people that are going to get unmarked graves. But they're the everyman, they're the every person living in a galaxy under the rule of an empire that has become complacent, which allowed for the rising of a resistance. So that's pretty exciting of how they're telling the story. And I like that a lot. I don't mind the fact that it is more of a slower paced show. It gives you time to breathe and to spend time with these characters. So when a character like Nemec bites the dust, we spent 3 episodes with them, and you kind of feel bad when the one person on this crew who really believed in what he's fighting for lost his life. So it's things like that that make it worth those moments. It makes it more interesting to enjoy and to watch. I can watch something that's just high action, and I love that stuff, but I also love a character piece. I love understanding a character more. That's why I like She-Hulk so much. She-Hulk was more of a character piece than just a superhero show. It's a superhero show, yeah, but the powers aren't the major focus of the show. It's what the person is who's being affected by the powers. It's really interesting. I think this is an interesting take on Star Wars than we haven't really seen. It has a lot of familiarity with certain characters and certain settings and time frames, but we're getting these different, more in-depth point of views from characters from groups that we kind of already knew the basics of. So now we're getting more in depth, and I really enjoy that about the series. So I will try to get this structured a little bit better for the last 6 episodes. It'll probably be in pairs. I think that'll work out a little bit better. I'll have a little bit more time. And I'm getting my motivation back, which is good. I'm sorry I didn't get to a lot of Halloween stuff this year, but I'll explain that more in a different video. So I'm going to do another video pretty soon, probably tomorrow. Those are my I guess, somewhat spoilery thoughts on episodes 4 through 6 of Andor. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Again, I know it's been out for a while, so you've had time to sit on it. You've had time to watch it. You've had time to compile a good take on the series, and especially being halfway through the episodes that we get in this first season. This is a good point. This is a good point to kind of have that discussion if you think it's a good series or not. So let me know all that stuff in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for checking out this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around and I guess putting up with my awkwardness and craziness. Again, if you're new here, hi, my name's Will, and I do this geeky thing on the internet. I do a lot on this channel. Trying to get back onto more of a regular schedule. I've kind of waned in the last month or two, but we're bouncing back. That's the plan. But yeah, if you're interested in that sort of thing, subscribe to the channel, help brother out, and hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think about all the stuff that I do here, and what else you would like to maybe see me check out. Give me some suggestions of some things. Maybe I'll do Halloween in November to kind of bounce back from not doing stuff. I still haven't seen Hocus Pocus 2. I'm probably gonna rewatch the original and then also watch Hocus Pocus 2. That's on the list. Got Black Adam on the list. That's coming up. Like I said, I'll talk about all this coming up stuff in another video. But let me know what you think of Andor. Check out some other videos I have on the channel right now. I have a ton of them. You can follow me on a lot of different social media platforms listed at the end of this video. Subscribe, like, share, all that fun stuff. As always, until next time, I love you. Appreciate you, and I'll catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.